So hamatakiapi chantewa steya na pe chiuzapi iushkiawanchiankapi. My name is Jewell Arcoren. I'm from Sisseton in Sicangu, so Dakota and Lakota. I come from Minnesota, also known as. I grew up here in this area, Minneapolis. Language is very important to place, especially in a place such as Minnesota, and not unlike other areas across Turtle Island that have experienced genocide. And I use the word genocide when I talk about place and history as a way of acknowledging the other side of the narrative that's been created by our government, by our education system, and by the industries that have commodified our water supplies, our plants, our rice, our trees, all of those things, anything that could be commodified. So kind of telling the other side of the story is in particular a Dakota narrative. We, as Dakota people, know that this was an area where a lot of our women gave birth to their children. We know there's a cosmology that goes along with this particular area. We know that this was a trade route, it was an incredible trading area. So that it was, with the Dakota people inhabiting here, there was, the Mandan, Hidatsa, the whole chunk, the Ojibwe people. And because Minnesota has such an incredible food shed, there was a lot of trading going on. And as we may or may not know, the Mississippi River was our freeway, was one of our trade routes. So that's what the significance of this place obviously was understood and felt by the colonizers, the settlers that came in and decided to harness this power here, to industrialize this area and to erase I think the goal inside of the genocide picture was to erase the Dakota history here and the connection to this place here. The really good thing is we're still here. We've survived a genocide. The other side is we want to recover. Whether that means language, our lifeways, our ceremonies, our food, our food systems are a big part of the recovery. It would be really awesome to see this cosmology story in a setting where everybody, in particular our kids, our Dakota, our Ojibwe kids, our indigenous kids, can grow up with this story that has been buried, or we could daylight it, I guess we would call the cosmology story that goes with this birthing island. Not a lot of people know that this was a sacred island, that women came here to have their children. And again, speaking to that connection, many of us have grown up with the idea that water is a relative of ours, and that it has it cleans us, it cleanses us, it nourishes us, it takes care of us. And what do we do for this river, this water, this relative in return? How reciprocal are we as human beings? And I know that the push has been to disconnect us from place and from the fact that we're all interconnected. And so anything that could anything along those lines that would help us understand that is we're all just human beings, really deconstruct these race constructs that we all live in. That, understanding that a genocide has happened here in Minnesota, all over Turtle Island, and that if we're victims of intergenerational historical trauma, that there's perpetrator trauma that exists under the guise of privilege, under the guise of benefits, and that we too need to recover this population too, if we're all going to continue to live on this place we call Unchimaka, Mother Earth. Contemporary today, and we've managed to bring some of those traditional lifeways with us, which is why we continue to dance in our moccasins, because we believe that energy from the earth is healing for us, one of the ways we can heal. So when we talk about the one-sided narrative and what we can do with that seal and telling the other side of the story, it really is that we as Dakota people, as indigenous people here in the Americas, we're still here. We're very much alive, and we want to be healthy.